MMAnews.com, and right now I am joined by PFL CEO Peter Murray. How's it going?
All right, Curtis, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks again for the time. I really do appreciate it. Obviously, a lot going on with the PFL this weekend. We got to start off with Kayla Harrison. How pumped are you to see her back in the PFL cage tomorrow night?
Kayla, she's back with the PFL. She's in a class of her own, 12-0, putting that undefeated record on the line this season. And she's got a formidable opponent, 7-time, Sambo world champion in Marina. So I think, this season could be Kayla's toughest test at the PFL. But it's been amazing to watch her grow and to see the stamp that she's putting on the sport. And she's got so much more ahead of her, and we're excited to be part of that journey.
I was actually just about to ask you about that. Do you see this as her toughest season yet in terms of the additions that you guys made with Julia Budd, Marina, and just kind of the division as a whole?
Absolutely, and that is our goal, season over season, to continue to elevate the caliber of talent within the PFL roster. Cepha does an amazing job at identifying, developing athletes, and I think you're seeing that. You saw that PFL 1-2. Last season, irrelevant to tomorrow night, we have Pettis coming in. It's a big redemption play for him and his legacy, and he underestimated the competition within the PFL, and so. But again, year over year, it continues to ratchet up, and Kayla, she also continues to ratchet up her game. She's a true professional. Her dedication to training and improving her game is really, really exceptional, but I do think it'll be her toughest test this season.
Mm-hmm. And I actually got a chance to speak with Anthony Pettis earlier this week. He seems like a completely different fighter in terms of just mentally, physically, emotionally, just completely rejuvenated. What are your expectations for him this season?
Well, listen, the expectation for all fighters. So in the end, they're good enough to get in. They have the skills, the capability, and the desire to become champions. So it's really all on them. It's all on Anthony. And it's all on all the fighters. They know what they need to do. They know who they're fighting, when they're fighting, what they're fighting for, which is really unique in this sport. Maybe not in other sports, but unique. But I think that's part of the PFL's model. What attracts top fighters, that meritocracy where they earn it, and it's win in advance, and so for Anthony, I'm looking forward to seeing him perform and compete, and no different than fans. And based on what he experienced and how he was challenged last season, is he ready? Is he ready? For this season, I think he is. I've been getting updates on his camp, and I certainly have been talking to him and watching the media. I do think he has a different mindset, than he did last season. So we'll see.
And speaking of earning it, Challenger Series, we got to talk about that. Obviously, a big addition to the PFL this season. What are some of the plans with that going forward in terms of how it'll evolve and carry forward?
Yeah, great question. We're excited to launch it with our partner Fubo TV, here in the U.S. It's really our version of American Idol. It was a fun format to put together where you have icons from broader combat and sport weigh in, with fans weighing in each week who gets a contract. And let me tell you, that is a development property for us. It's a new franchise. It's a development property on the talent side. And our goal going in was to award 8 contracts, 1 a night, right? Well, I'll tell you what, we were really impressed with the caliber of talent, and I want to say we signed a dozen athletes, gave them contracts, and 6 of those athletes were good enough to punch their ticket into the 22 season. So it really exceeded our expectation in terms of quality of fighters. We'll see how those 6 athletes perform, in the season, but that's ultimately the measure. And then for me, did we develop someone or find someone in Challenger Series that will ultimately become champion of the PFL season in a weight class? That could happen this season, and if not this season, perhaps next season. So that's the ultimate measure. And then giving fans just some fun, great new events that kind of bring a different entertainment overlay to it. So we had some fun with it, and more to come next year. It'll be back
Yeah, awesome. And just a couple more questions for me. Speaking of next year, the pay-per-view division, kind of speak about that and just kind of give us what details you can give us in terms of how that'll work and what it'll
Sure. Well, hey, we talked about Challenger Series, so if you envision a pyramid, right, that is our talent and content sort of strategy right there. And you know, you have in the foundation, it's future stars and champions, that development league in the Challenger Series. Then in the heart of it, it's the season. And so we have that competition, those events, these athletes, and what's at the top is needle mover, super fights where it doesn't necessarily have to tie back to a season format or another unique format. Great fighters, great fights. Some of the tops in the game will be coming over to the PFL to compete in this division. And we do have pay-per-view talent within the PFL as well as concepts that we're going to be bringing over to that division next season. So you'll see us expand our events through Challenger Series, through the season, and now pay-per-view, and you'll be hearing about some major signings tied to that division.
That's awesome. And last question for me. What's your message to PFL fans for this season and for next season and for seasons to come?
It's really enjoy the ride. The format that we provide fans is, once again, it's a premium product. It's innovative, and it starts with great fighters and great fights. But when you overlay that season format, fans really have the opportunity to invest in fighters and really connect with them and follow their journey through a season. The beginning, the middle, the end, and they're really passionate and interested. They have their favorites, but they also know who's fighting who and when and what they're fighting for. And it all culminates with a major sports entertainment spectacle with life-changing money on the line. So we give fans that ride each season. And so, for fans, I'm just excited that we continue to grow year over year. And we're reaching more fans than ever, thanks to partners like ESPN, Fubo, in addition to all of our international partners. We distribute to 160 countries. So, again, we're providing more access to great quality MMA fights.
Awesome. Well, Pete, thanks again for the time.
Great
really
seeing you.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming to the event.
I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. And after tomorrow night's show, we'll see you in Atlanta, where we're going to be at the Overtime Elite, venue in the heart of the city of Atlanta for the second leg or second half of the season. And those fights are all about pretty much you got to win to get into the postseason. You got to score. Scoring means finish. Every fight counts. So, again, I'm going to bring that back to the fans. That's what they're excited about.